Good morning. Excuse me. Welcome to Just for Today, the time of eclectic reading, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Greater Baltimore and Columbia. Today is November 15th. And this morning I'm reading from Creative Mind and Success by Ernest Holmes. And I'm reading from the top of page 53. The title heading is One Law in Many Manifestations. People often ask if the law will not bring harm as well as good. This, excuse me. This question would never be asked if people understood what universal law really means. Of course, it will bring us what we think. All law will do the same thing. The law of electricity will either light our house or burn it down. We can decide what we are to do with the law. Law is always impersonal. There is no likelihood of using the law for harmful purposes if we always use it for the more complete expression of life. We must not use it for any purpose that we would not like to experience ourselves. This should answer all questions of that nature. Do I really want the thing I ask for? Am I willing to take for myself what I ask for other people? I think we have to first understand the totality and completeness of one in order to fully grasp how law works. If we look at using law in duality, all kinds of questions come up. When we understand that we are inseparably connected, that it is impossible for me to want something separate from anyone else. And I think the biggest place that comes up for us is in those areas where we're locked into other people's behavior. When we allow hate or disgruntledness to motivate how we use law, how we use thought. It's those places where we entertain unholy, if you will, internal conversations where we want to condemn someone else without realizing that in order to condemn you, I condemn me. In order to wish harm for someone that I dislike, I'm wishing harm on myself, because there is no separation. None. And so if we would just focus on life, affirming goodness, affirming grace. There's the Kabbalist, the mystical arm of Judaism, talks about that divine spark within all of creation. And if we would simply focus on lifting that divine spark up in everyone to see beyond behaviors. It's not easy. It is possible to see beyond behaviors to the truth of being and lift up that, the behaviors will change. The behaviors will change. But I cannot wish harm or extend hatred to anyone else without wishing that on myself and extending it to myself. There's just no way to do that because there's only one. and we are just different expressions of it. And as the truth of being is revealed, behavior lines up with that. It's a tricky thing because our whole human experience is based in the concept and experience of duality. And so first we have to navigate that it is just a function. Time, space is just a function in this human realm so that we can navigate the experience of being human. But it's not spiritually accurate that we're separate. And that's the activity of law. It, we all get wet standing in the same rainstorm. Gravity works the same for everybody. That's the activity of law. And thought works the same. There are multiple courses to help us understand this because I don't think it's something we can grasp quickly. At least I couldn't. And when I'm in the throes of discontent, when something triggers my anger or my fear, I don't always remember this right away. And so that's why we need spiritual community. That's why I need spiritual community, is to help me remember. Because I have a pretty healthy forgetter. So I'm going to read this passage one more time. It's about a paragraph and a half if you happen to have the book. It's right at the beginning of page 53 of Creative Mind and Success, titled One Law and Many Manifestations. People often ask if the law will not bring harm as well as good. This question would never be asked if people understood what universal law really means. Of course, it will bring us what we think. All law will do the same. The law of electricity will light our house or burn it down. We decide what we are to do with the law. Law is always impersonal. There is no likelihood of using the law for harmful purposes if we always use it for the more complete expression of life. We must not use it for any purpose that we would not like to experience ourselves. This should answer all questions of that nature. Do I really want the thing I ask for? Am I willing to take for myself what I ask for other people? So let's take that into our 5-minute meditation practice. And so I recognize that there is only one infinite, ever-present substance, one source, one absolute reality, consciousness itself, infinite possibility, unformed and formed, always expressing itself as newness, as life unfolding, as evolution. Always one. And I recognize that all life is this one, expressing itself in the multiplicity of form and function, multiplicity of places and things, multiplicity of personalities, each a center of creation, each fully empowered with the creative process, law acting upon every thought that each thinks, every belief that each holds. And so I claim and affirm that each of us is that and is awakening to the truth of our being. We are awakening to the power of creation expressing as each. We are awakening to the wholeness, the oneness, the completeness, the perfection of being. So that the beliefs and the desires that we hold, that move consciousness into expression, that move consciousness by desire into the activity of law, are in alignment with the truth of being. That love is the motivating factor. That peace is the motivating factor. That what we want for all, we want for ourselves, and what we want for ourselves, we want for all. Bringing our desire into alignment, into unity, into that place where we uplift the divine spark in all of creation. That we are intentional and purposeful, always revealing more God, more alignment of our thinking with our being. Recognizing that the doing of it all is the activity of law, the unfolding, and that we simply say yes to the road that is laid before us. That there is no condemnation in love. And I am grateful. I am grateful for the activity of law that is truly impersonal, that simply receives the impress of thought, the impress of beliefs, the desire to express. And with all of the resources, the infinite resources of infinite possibility, infinite intelligence, simply makes it so. And so there is no place in this human journey of efforting, but simply of accepting. Of accepting the guidance, of accepting the road laid before us, of saying that infinite divine yes to being all that we came here to be. To live in alignment with the truth of our being, to live in alignment with what is done, to see God everywhere, to be love everywhere, in all situations. And so knowing it is complete, I can let go. I can let go of all the internal battles. I can let go of all the internal arguments. I can let go of all the fear and doubt, all the what if onlys, all the yes buts. I let them all go. I let go of any belief that would in any way limit the full manifestation of the desire to express, the desire for love, the desire for peace. I let go of anything and everything that would impede a full expression of that, knowing that law's got it handled. I don't need to know the how to show up and be. So knowing this to be true, I let go. I release. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amen. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.